Hello, and I'm just taking an extra note. Hello, and welcome to the Engineer Your Success, Leadership, and Life Harmony Like a Mother show. I'm your host, Kinia Romanovska, award-winning investigative journalist turned maternity leave and working motherhood strategist and parent retention strategist for large companies for women in STEM, competitive, corporate, and demanding fields. I know that's a mouthful. I hope you caught all of that. But anyway, at Pros and Babes, we know that the transition into new motherhood or working motherhood can be hard. You go through a significant identity shift, your relationships change, right? Especially with your partner and with yourself, your finances change. And many women and new mothers and fathers are kind of trapped in the overwhelm of trying to figure out everything on their own. And here at Pros and Babes, we believe it shouldn't be that way, right? So that's why we bring you the best experts, the best tips and guests and resources so that you can engineer your success, leadership, and life harmony like a mother. The choice of those words is very intentional. It's a step-by-step process we take from your mindset to your values to a roadmap to get to a future state that is much more comfortable than the one you're in. It's not perfect, but we definitely see huge success with our community and client group when people take those action steps. So my topic today is the mental load. It's something that comes up a lot in questions and workshops. We've been getting many requests from companies right now on navigating the mental load. People feel crushed with a lot of responsibility and a never-ending to-do list. And so I want to give you a couple of tips on how I see mostly women. I mean, most of my clientele is women. Obviously, we have to talk about the partners in the picture. That's a different topic, but I will focus because so much of the mental load often falls on women when they become mothers. I'm talking about that today. So it's a pretty simple framework. There's a mindset piece. We need to define a couple of key concepts, right? So there's mental load, domestic labor, and emotional labor. And so categorizing these pieces and breaking them down can be really helpful. So you have to organize all of that, right? Delegating, saying no, and systematizing. So that's a framework that I want to discuss briefly with you today. Number one is the mindset piece. Many people who struggle with a mental load and a never-ending to-do list have a hard time asking for help. And so that's the first mindset block, is you have to actually be open to receiving help, because as a working mom, you are often running 2 full-time jobs, truly, right? We don't always have all the support systems in place to help us thrive. And so it's no surprise that so many of us feel like we're doing so much all the time and we have a never-ending to-do list. So the number one piece usually is giving yourself permission to ask for help. If you don't do that, it's going to be really hard to do all the other steps and actually make change for yourself. So give yourself permission to receive help. If you're listening to this on a recording, on a podcast, on our live show, number one, put a sticky somewhere. I accept help. I don't need to do everything by myself. Many of us grew up with mothers who seem to do it all without asking for help. And so we have this mentality that we have to be like our mother. That is simply not true. We live in different times. We have different work obligations and different systems. We live in the era of internet where work just simply never stops. So your situation is different and you have to accept it, and you have to accept asking for help. Number two, what we like to do and what we've done in our community is we have a whole spreadsheet where we've defined emotional labor, which is the business of caring, remembering to, remember the birthdays, remembering the medical appointments, remembering that your sister-in-law likes a particular type of noodle or has allergies, right? Putting on that nice face when you receive a gift that is less than desirable. All of these things, we've probably made a list of, 25 elements. We've worked with a sociologist to do that, so we have that outlined. Then there's the mental load. It's kind of more the project management piece of running the household, right? Organizing everything, organizing vacations, project managing your house, making sure you don't run out of things, which also can fall under emotional labor to some extent. And then there's the domestic labor, actually, the stuff that you do at home to maintain it, right? So define the different categories. Organize them, make a list of everything that's done. They require a different type of energy. Domestic labor is often more physical, whereas the emotional and mental load is often what gets you so tired because your brain never stops. So actually categorizing those things, dividing them, can help you organize that chaos in your mind, right? The next step is to delegate. Often you have to have a conversation with your family, with your household, and people have to own certain chunks. So for example, for the laundry, it's not just folding the laundry, but it's remember to buy the detergent. It's doing the right loads, right, at the right time and not mixing things. It's putting it in the right place. So owning something from A to Z is really important. And then delegating to outsourced help. I will see that in most circumstances in dual career, high-performing professional households that have tons of responsibilities, the most successful women are the ones who first do some proper cash flow planning, because at first glance, it can often feel like you can't afford these services. But then when you actually look more closely at the type of life you want to design, most of my clients realize that they do much better with them. They do better financially. Their marriages do better. So I won't dive into all the nitty-gritty of it. I can tell you that our clients who do the best are the ones who invest in outsourcing, right? Our dual career couples. So I encourage you to strongly consider that. Delegate to paid services and delegate to other people in your household and divide. Then you got to start saying no. Many people do things out of a certain sense of obligation, taking care of, somebody's birthday in the family, their partner's family, without giving their partner a chance to step up, for example. So inventorize all the things that actually wear on you and ask yourself, do I really need to do these things? Or am I internalizing some story from somewhere that is actually, what I need to do? So that's a big aha moment for many people. You don't have to do everything. You can actually start saying no. That's a big one. And finally, systematize. So putting these things in repeatable processes that you can, remember that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every year in terms of doing. For example, when it comes to your kids' summer clothes and winter clothes and all those rotations, you can get help for that and support for that and systematize it in your calendar, right? So that's kind of the last final level where we see people being successful. So our live show is very short today. It's very concrete. I can tell you that many women are conquering the mental load. It doesn't get perfect, but it can get much easier if you give yourself permission to ask for help. If you are stuck in that narrative that, my mom did it all, or I have to do it all, or I don't want to ask for help, you're going to be in the exact same place in 3 to 6 months. So first, that mindset block. Then define and organize, divide those different categories in a spreadsheet, delegate, right? And outsource, say no, and systematize. Very simple framework, but you have to have the right mindset to do it. So I hope that this short and sweet episode of your Engineer Your Success, Leadership, and Life Harmony Like a Mother show was helpful. You're ready to take action, and we wish you the best of luck. And we would love to hear from you. If you found it useful, please share it with others. And if you've applied some of the tips, please let us know. We would like to see how your life changes as a result of these resources. Take care.